Hi everyone, it's Hannah, and today we're talking about my auto-buy authors. So all of my ride or die authors, I will buy everything that they publish, whether I end up liking it or not, or if I have literally any inkling as to what is going on in the book. I just need to know that they're coming out with a book and I'll immediately buy it. So these are all of those authors, the authors that I have loved for forever, or some new ones as well. So I'm gonna go over all of those. Let's get into it. First up, obviously, has to be Rick Riordan. If you cannot see the entire shelf, this little mini shelf over here is entirely his books, and it even extends into this other shelf because I have those two little skinny ones that wrap around. So if I didn't put Rick Riordan on this list, I think that would quite literally be a crime. I have bought like almost everything that he has put out since I was in elementary school when I first discovered the Percy Jackson series. I don't even know how many like editions of The Lightning Thief I have now. 8 editions of The Lightning Thief. Oh, technically 9 actually. I also have this copy still that I ripped 180 pages out of. This was my OG Lightning Thief. You guys remember that video? That's like one of my most popular videos, which is interesting. That wall did not stay up for very long. I have multiples of quite a few others, like the Sea of Monsters has quite a few. I will literally buy anything that Rick Riordan puts out. I have his like Daughter of the Deep series. I have both Percy Jackson, I have Heroes of Olympus, I have the random like companions. I don't have all of them, but I have a lot of the random companions. Obviously the Kane Chronicles, I have Magnus Chase, I have the Hidden Oracle and that Apollo series, I have Daughter of the Deep. I haven't even read this, and I genuinely don't think I'm ever going to read this. I even started buying books off of his imprint because I was like, Rick Riordan put it out in the world, let's go. He is probably like my top author, mostly just because of how much I grew up with him and how much he wrote so many important stories to not only myself but so many other people, and how he's continuing to do that. Having the Percy Jackson TV show like come out warms my heart so much. You guys can go watch all my reviews on that, they're all up. Let's move on. Next up is another very popular author. A lot of these are very popular, I'm not gonna lie, but I have to put them on here because they are my auto buys, so I have to. Next one is Brandon Sanderson. I don't have everything that he has put out because that man writes books quite literally one a day. He broke the code for how many like hours you can have in a day. Like that man definitely has more than 24 hours in a day because he just announced another random secret project. I have bought a lot of his books. Have I read all of them? No. Have I bought all of them? No. But honestly, I will. I genuinely will. It's just a matter of time. I've been reading his books for quite a few years now, and he just writes banger after banger. Like there's a few that I'm like, I don't think I've rated any of his books less than like 3 stars at least. Majority of them are 5 stars, so there's only been like 1 or 2 in there that I've rated like 3 stars, but I've loved them all. The first 2, Skyward, I read the first one, absolutely obsessed. Bought the second one, have not read it yet because his series take a lot out of me and I feel like I really need to pay attention because they are all interconnected, if you did not know. He has this entire world called the Cosmere, and almost all of his books are set in this world, whether it's in the future, the present, the past, in different parts of this world. It's wild and so expansive and insane. There's a few that aren't part of this world that he's kind of just like written, but majority are in this world. Let's look up, I don't even know how many books he has out because this man, I'm convinced he's a wizard. I'm not gonna lie because there is absolutely no way, because he just announced another secret project that he wrote while he was on vacation. He was like, oops, I did it again. I wrote another book. I was like, what do you mean? There are 60 books in the Cosmere. Yeah, he has 68 books total. 68? Those are not gonna fit on these shelves! Anyways, some of those I do think are novellas, but they're still like books, you know? So I have Skyward, the first 2 books. I have the whole Steelheart series. I have Tress of the Emerald Sea. I have The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. This one I can never pronounce. It's so long. I have the first 4 books of The Way of Kings. I've read the first one like 3 times now. I've read Words of Radiance and I started Oathbringer, but I have not continued because I need to like refresh my mind on everything that happens because they all play into each other so heavily, and they're thick books. So I have those, and then I have Edge Dancer too. So I have not bought all of his books yet, but that time is going to approach soon. I just like some of his covers I do not like, I will admit. The UK editions are way better, so I've been needing to like order them off of Blackwell's or something, but that will happen eventually. I'm on a book buying ban currently, so that's not happening today. But I do really want to start Oathbringer because Rhythm of War was already out, and then another one's coming out later this year, so I'm gonna finish that series. But yeah, those are all the Brandon Sanderson books I have. I do not have all 68 of his books, but let's move on from Brandon Sanderson because we could talk about him all day, that magical wizard. Next up, of course, has to be Cassandra Clare. I will buy everything that woman puts out, hence all of these authors on this list. I have quite literally all of her Shadowhunter books, or almost all of them in physical form. I have some on ebook, and I just have loved all of them. I really need to read. I have Chain of Gold. I have not read it yet, but I really want to because I've heard really great things about it. I've also heard some mixed things about it, so I don't really know, but I'm excited to jump back into the Shadowhunter world because it was such like a prominent part of my middle school and high school years. I just have so many reading vlogs on it. I'm not gonna tell you to go watch because God knows they're probably so cringy. Same with all of my videos that I've put out in the past God knows how long after I took a very long break and went to college. Those are there though if you are interested, but do not show them to me. I have this entire shelf up here dedicated to Cassie Clare. All of the Mortal Instruments. We've got Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron, all Lady Midnight in that series. We have quite a few of the like bind-ups of these like novellas like Ghost of the Shadowhunter Market. I have Tales of Shadowhunter Academy on ebook, and then like some random companions and stuff like that, and like Red Schools of Magic and all of that. So I've loved all of her books, and I love the Shadowhunter world, and I know that she has been in the Shadowhunter world for a very long time, but she just writes really great books in that world. But I'm very excited for Swordcatcher because it's not, I don't believe it's related to Shadowhunters quite literally at all. I'm so excited because I've heard nothing but good things about it. And it's supposed to be like a series trilogy? I'm not really sure. Moving on to another one that is right below this one, V.E. Schwab. I have, I think, almost all of her books now. I think there's a few that I'm missing. Read all of the ones on my shelf except for the Fragile Threads of Power because that just came out this year. A Darker Shade of Magic. I adore that series. It's so good, so immersive. I was just addicted to it. Loved Vicious and Vengeful. It's so gritty. I don't know if that's like a good word to describe it. It's so interesting, and you get to dive into the minds of like villains, these like very morally gray characters, and how they came to be. And I loved it enough that I had to buy it for a second time because I loaned them out to someone in college and I never got them back. Now I have them on my shelf again and they're back home. So I just adore V. Schwab's writing. I think she writes really, really deep, interesting, raw characters, and she just has a way with characters. Like genuinely just a way with how many levels each one of them has, how morally gray they are. She doesn't just write like good heroes, she writes heroes that obviously have some dark sides to them. Next up is a longtime ride or die, Morgan Matson. I have loved Morgan Matson probably since middle school, I want to say, and I bought all of her books. She just came out with a new Disney one, which I'm very excited to go get my hands on, but again, I'm on a book buying ban currently, so. I have Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, Second Chance Summer, Since You Be Gone, The Unexpected Everything, Save the Date. You guys know how much I love Save the Date, and I honestly want to reread it. I also have the little novella for it. There's like a Christmas novella that came out. Then I have Take Me Home Tonight. Every Morgan Matson book I have read, I have adored. She just writes very emotional characters in real life, but also just like such cutesy romances that aren't just very fluffy read. She also adds a lot of depth to her characters and the situations they're going through, and I just am addicted to all of her books. I keep tabs on her when she's working on books and stuff because I just know that I'm gonna end up loving it. Then, of course, Emily Henry. I think I have everything that she has written. One of my friends got me People We Met on Vacation right when it came out for my birthday, or it was a Christmas present, I don't remember. Ever since then, I've just picked up her books, and she is popular for a reason. She writes very, very real characters in very real situations, and she writes addicting books that I just feel so connected to. So if you haven't read Emily Henry, which I don't know how you haven't because she's very, very, very popular, I love her. Next, I'm going to talk about my 3 recent auto-buy authors that I personally have discovered my love for them in the past like 1, 2, 3 years. First up has to be K.L. Walther. 3 books that have come out. So we have Maybe Meant to Be, The Summer of Broken Rules, and also What Happens After Midnight. I've read all of these and have loved all of them so much. The Summer of Broken Rules is what introduced me to her. It's her 2nd book. I was obsessed. I've gotten so many of my friends to read it and they've all loved it. When What Happens After Midnight came out, I was obsessed with that. And then I didn't pick up Maybe Meant to Be until fairly recently, and I still really enjoyed that one. Summer of Broken Rules, one of my all-time favorite books. It's just so good. I will recommend it constantly. She writes like Taylor Swift references all throughout. Y'all know I've been obsessed with Taylor Swift since I was like 7 years old. That just warms my little Swiftie heart. They're just so cutesy and fluffy, but also deal with like really hard topics. So I think she does a really good job with that. And plus the Swiftie references are always a plus. Then we have Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So my first series by her was The Inheritance Games. I started that my like sophomore year of college, and I binged them as the final book came out as well. So I like had perfect timing with that. Recently I picked up The Naturals. I had always seen The Naturals around in stores, and a lot of people were talking about them back in like 2013, but I never picked them up because I didn't like the book covers. And anyways, but it's so good. Jennifer Lynn Barnes writes books that you can binge. I read this entire Natural series like probably within a week, and there's like 4 books plus a novella. And then The Inheritance Games was also just so good. Now she has a whole novella bind-up coming out soon, part of the Inheritance Games series, and also the 2nd book for the Brothers Hawthorne coming out, so I'm very excited to get my hands on those. I love her characters and I love being in those worlds, and she just writes such binge-worthy books that they will get you out of a reading slump. So if you need a good book series to get you out of a reading slump, her books are it. You will not want to stop reading. So pick those up if you have not already. Finally, we have Ashley Poston. I bought Geekerella right when it came out. I was very interested in it. I really liked it. I also bought The Princess and the Fangirl. I thought it was okay, not my favorite out of the 2. I really liked Geekerella. This past year, I got introduced to her adult novels. I am blown away. The 7-Year Slip and The Dead Romantics are on my top books of all time. Specifically The 7-Year Slip. That one specifically is on top books of all time. The Dead Romantics could be up there. I have like 3 copies of The 7-Year Slip. Accidentally. I have my first copy, which is being loaned out currently. And then I ordered a signed edition from a local indie bookstore. Well, it's not local to me, but it's an indie bookstore in like Southern Carolina. I don't know, wherever Ashley Poston is from. Ordered a signed copy. They accidentally sent me one that wasn't signed, and they ran out of the signed copies of the 7-Year Slip. So I just got an email the other day that said that they got her to come in and sign more. So I have that coming in, and I'm so excited. I made one of my coworkers read The Dead Romantics recently, and she was obsessed. So those are all my auto-buy authors. Let me know if you guys have any of the same ones on your list, but these are just authors that I will buy everything in my means of theirs. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your favorite authors and if we have any of the same ones, and I will see you in my next video soon. Bye guys.